So, hey everybody, good morning. As I told you, this is my Saturday scope day. Hello, my kind of thing. Thank you for joining. This is my super scope Saturday. I scope all day Saturday long on things that I've discovered, my aha moments, and add value to the community through scoping and sharing with you some things that I discovered. So, as many of you, well, not as many of you, because all of you aren't following me, but on this week, I let some secrets out about me. I let out a small secret about me, but it's a really big thing. Hey, Ennis, thank you for joining. A really, really, really big thing because I shared with my audience that I was born 2 pounds 6 ounces and I wasn't supposed to live, and learning was difficult, and I had a learning disability, and they didn't call it that, or I hid this complex from other, or this problem from other people, but I tried my best to learn because I was the eager beaver. But I realized early on that I just was not like everybody else, and that I had to find some other ways to make this happen for myself so that I wouldn't feel like an absolute failure to myself, and I did. And today I have a PhD, but I wanted to share with you guys about some interesting discoveries that I made last night, because after I shared the information this week, I realized that I needed to rethink my target market, because I really, am building a speaking platform, and that, hey Robin, thank you for joining. And in building your speaking platform, you really have to resonate or connect with the right audience. And so when I shared that I had this learning disability, I shared it because it was important to share, number one. Two, we can't be ashamed of what we went through to get to where we are, because even with my learning disability, even being born 2 pounds 6 ounces, all these things, I managed to achieve a PhD. But here's what I wanted to share with you. I began doing some digging last night because I'm a researcher, right? So I began to look at target, how you use data, to determine the direction that you should go in. And sometimes we can use too much data and exercise little judgment. And sometimes that's what I've done, a lot of that in the past. But data is extremely important too. But you have to make good business decisions based on gut instincts as well. So my gut instinct this week told me, tell your story. As I began the push the red button challenge, a lot of things I began to think about myself, and I started having these aha moments, like it's okay for me to tell people that I had this learning disability, because you need to resonate with the people who are like you, so that you can help and add value to the people who are like you to overcome any adversities that they may have. So as I began to look at the data last night, I also started doing some research on learning disabilities, which, I've been doing some before, but never related to business. And so I began doing some research last night on people with learning disabilities, and I'm looking at 3 different audiences: your baby boomers, your generation Y's, your generation X, and how to find your customers, how to find your customers on their turf, matching your personality, your company cultures, your outreach style, right? So let me share something with you. I have been following this individual forever. This one guy, Richard Branson, because you remember now, I run a social enterprise, and I learned how to run a social enterprise because I follow Richard Branson. Richard Branson is one of the richest men in the world. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's the Virgin. He runs Virgin, Virgin Air, all those Virgin companies, right? And so I learned my whole methodology about social enterprise from Richard Branson because of the way he looks at social enterprise as benefiting all of society, right? How can we build big business that benefits all of society and includes all people, right? What I did not know about Richard, you guys, was that he had a learning disability. This was the most amazing aha moment that I've had in a long time. The very person that I have been following all this time, the very person that I have built the principles of my business off of, Rich, the very person that I built my business principles off of was Richard Branson. And Richard had dyslexia. And when I was doing my research last night on people who are in business that have learning disabilities, you guys, the amazing discovery that I had last night, oh my God, Richard Branson, dyslexia made high school especially difficult. My story, that is my story. So I'm sharing this with you, and I hope this reaches many because it shares how important it is that we don't dismiss who we are. We can't dismiss any of our shortcomings because our shortcomings can make us amazing people, right? Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Richard Branson had dyslexia. He's one of the richest men in the world building social enterprise. My amazing mentor. My amazing mentor. So he is the owner of Virgin everything. You know, Virgin Air, Virgin this business. He has companies all over the world, right? So get that. Here I am following the very guy and building business like him, only to discover, that this guy and me resonate. Maybe that's why I followed. Maybe that's why I understood him, because he stands for the very things that I stand for, right? So then I discovered that another one was, I don't know if you know this guy, but Peter Knight. He is started his company because of his ADD. He's a staffing company. Yeah, he has a staffing company. So listen to this, guys. Stay with me. Stay with me. The CEO of Kinko's. How many of you know Kinko's? Kinko's copier, right? I need you guys to stay with me because this floored me. CEO of Kinko's embraced his dyslexia and ADD when he started his company. So listen, here's how he did that. You know how many of us can study and function. I couldn't. I'm telling you, I couldn't. I had a traffic jam up here. Well, this guy used to understand by copying the notes. You know, like he was a note copier. You have to hear his story. He would, for group projects in school, he would take care of the photocopying of the notes. Listen to this. He would take care of the photocopying of the notes. That was his contribution to the group projects, right? Because everyone, in order to get out of writing them, because he didn't want to write them because he just couldn't focus on the writing piece. So he would just copy the notes. And it made sense that he would end up starting what? A copy company. Kinko's is a major franchise, you guys. This guy is, let me see, what is his name? The CEO of Kinko's. Orfalia is his name. I'm almost done. Okay, then let me share this other one with you. You guys stay with me. I don't know how many of you know this guy, but Cisco. I know you guys have heard of Cisco automation IT products, right? You heard of that, right? He is the John Chambers overcame his dyslexia with his optimistic attitude. He is the CEO of Cisco. You guys look this stuff up. I am not making this stuff up. Cisco, right? So I'm about to do an anthology. Okay, here's another one. Bram Cohen. He had Asperger's syndrome. All right? Asperger's syndrome. He rooted in a world of patterns, puzzles, and computers, right? So he created the BitTorrent. Have you guys heard of the BitTorrent? I know you guys. The disruptive technology that lets people transfer huge amounts of information over the internet. BitTorrent. Yes. That's Bram Cohen. Asperger's syndrome. I lied to you not, guys. This was a aha moment for me. Okay. Let me share this next one with you. Alright. So you have JetBlue. I just flew on JetBlue. I never heard of it before. Just flew on JetBlue in May. The CEO of JetBlue, ADHD. Yes, you guys, I am like super aha right now. So he says his ADHD led him to creating JetBlue's e-ticketing system, right? So his mom helped him to hone in on his love for airplanes. And that's what started this whole idea of this airline. These are rich people. These are rich people. You guys, own your own, please. Hold on, I'm not finished. Please own so you can truly add value to people's lives. Like, get this one. That's right. We think we the only ones who have some challenges. Y'all, listen to this. Listen, I need y'all to share this with everybody that you know, because we need to help somebody today. We need to help somebody today. Listen to this, y'all. How many of y'all have heard of Charles Schwab? Charles Schwab, financial guru, right? Yes. Schwab didn't even realize his condition until his son was diagnosed with it based on his symptoms. He had dyslexia. Okay. He became quite candid about it and founded something called sparktop.org, which is for children with learning disabilities. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to this scope. This is a aha moment for everybody. I just want to share with you, because not only did I come outside of my closet this week, but I also discovered that a lot of the people that I follow have the same issues. Okay? So let me finish. Let me share some others. How many of you know IKEA? Wealthy people who have disabilities. IKEA. How many of you know IKEA? Put a 1 in the chat. IKEA, the furniture company, right? You know, you have visual learners, audio learners, tactile learners, right? Okay. Did you know IKEA, that he actually Elmtard? Ingvar Kamprad. He was Swedish. The owner of IKEA and founder. It came from dyslexia. Did you know that IKEA, the name, IKEA, I-K-E-A, came from the syndrome dyslexia? My God. He used his own shortcomings to come up with a name for his company. Just like I did. Audacity. bold, courageous. Isn't that something, you guys? Isn't that just amazing? Listen to this. All right, I'm not finished, y'all. Now, listen. Tommy Hilfiger. I'm not fond of this guy, but I'm fond of his ability to overcome. Right? I'm fond of his ability to overcome. Share this on Twitter. Share this on Facebook, you guys, because we need to help somebody today. Okay? Listen to this. All right, let's go. I got a few more I want to share with you. Please stay with me. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh my goodness. I did not know this one. You guys, I need you to hear this one. The Apple founder. Dyslexic. Steve Jobs. You guys, rich people with disabilities. Steve Jobs, the Apple founder, was dyslexic. Dyslexia might make it more difficult for Steve to read, which my disability made it difficult for me to read, but it did not slow down his desire to innovate. It did not slow down his desire to innovate. Okay, y'all, I'm about to run. I'm about to run, y'all. I swear, I just want to take off and do the shout. I just really just want. Okay, listen to this one. Hewlett Packard. You know, Hewlett Packard, folks. Y'all know that name, right? HP, my thing. My thing, Hewlett Packard, right? Bill Hewlett co-founded Hewlett Packard, which was at one point went on to become the second largest computer company in the world. The second largest computer company in the world suffered from dyslexia. It didn't stop him. And my learning disability did not stop me. It didn't stop me, okay? But we need to share this with people who need this support. And as I was doing my research to build my platform, my speaking platform last night, my God, the discovery that I made. Listen to this, you guys. Henry Ford of Ford Motor Company. Please share this with your followers. Dyslexic. He credits with building the first practical automobile, and he helped create a middle class in America. He had fierce ambition. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off of your goal, he once said. I didn't. I was 53 years old. I'm 53 years old. No one told me I had a learning disability. I just knew I couldn't read and comprehend like everybody else. I struggled. All I could get was a C. But I did know that my brother had dyslexia, so I would help my brother. But how in the world was I helping him when I was struggling so hard? So this was a in the family, because my parents didn't graduate from high school, so I struggled and didn't have nobody to help me. Nobody knew that I was struggling with nothing. My father didn't have a second grade education, and my mother, she never graduated from high school. Am I going to formally get tested? I don't think I need to formally be labeled, because I didn't like labels anyway. But what I knew was, I was developmentally delayed. And that was because I was a premature baby. So these things were commonplace, and I'm probably going to get a lot of the story from my mom, because I want, to tell my story now. I really want to tell that story. but I need to get that history from my mother. I was 2 pounds 6 ounces, incubated for 6 months. I wasn't supposed to live. So quite naturally, there were going to be some things, that I would have to overcome. And a lot of that was learning. So developmental delays can cause you to have, these types of disabilities. So in terms of being tested, there was no need to be tested. It was the developmental delays came as a result of being premature. So let me just share with you some other ones. And I'm going to go because I got to take my daughter to film school. How many of you know Ted Turner? Ted Turner, the CEO, broadcaster. Ted Turner. Ted Turner, you guys, made his fortune despite his learning disability. How about that? You guys, I could go on and on, but I'm going to come back. I'm probably just going to do a blog about each of these individuals, because I just feel like we really need to be talking about, and we need to be resonating with the right populations. If for some reason I came to share this with you, and I'm going to close right now, that you have been afraid to talk about who you really are. If for some reason you have been afraid to talk about who you really are, the time is now. I could not have made a more interesting revelation, and it was all God ordained, because I participated in the Red Button Challenge this week, and I was forced to think about who I am. I was forced to really think about what I wanted people to know about me. And the first thing I wanted people to know about me was that I was challenged. I was challenged. 2 pounds 6 ounces, born 53 years ago, where modern medicine was not a thing. It was not a thing. You weren't supposed to overcome. There was no modern medicine. There was no such thing as a NICU. There was no such thing as survival. But God saw fit to save me for such a time as this. But there was a whole lot of in between. There was a whole lot of in between. Everything from the braces on my legs to walk, the behind the scenes learning how to read, all of these things. And one of the scopers just asked me, when was I formally diagnosed? I didn't have to be. I was developmentally delayed from birth. It took me a long time. It just was how I was born. It was how I was born, and during a time when, it just wasn't, survival wasn't a thing. But I had to go through some things. But I achieved my PhD. I learned how to learn. I learned how to learn because I wanted and had the desire to learn. And so when you have the ambition to do something, just like all of the people that I've mentioned today, and discovering that a lot of the people that I follow and associate myself with and built my big business off of, Branson, I never knew he was dyslexic. He's my numero uno in social enterprise. Remember, I run a social enterprise. So because I do, I naturally follow people who are into social enterprise. But I didn't know that about him. I didn't know. So I hope this helps somebody today. And I hope that if you are watching, that if you have a story, it's time to really connect. It's time to connect with the people that need your story. Build your speaker platform. Connect with those people that you can serve. Learning disability is a thing. It's a condition, and a lot of people are suffering from it. So if I can be a mentor to people who are suffering with learning disabilities, then that's the audience that I need to be in front of. So going back to identifying your target market, there's nothing greater than resonating with the people whom you can are like you, who have your personality, who have overcome the challenges that you, who are looking to overcome the challenges that you have overcome. So anyway, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, my name is Dr. Eveangel Savage. This has happened to be one of the best scopes that I'm sharing, that I'm enjoying sharing with all of you. And I am the CEO of Audacity Group Social Enterprise, and I teach people to identify, initiate, and implement strategies of distinction. Our mission at Audacity is to affirm human social value for all people. And now I thank God for giving me that aha moment, for showing me truly my purpose in life, to make a difference with the people who are like me. Thank you for joining me. This is Dr. Eveangel Savage, and I'll come back with you later. This is Scope Saturday. Money Magnet Mentoring is on my mind, but most importantly, connecting with the people who resonate with me. Thank you for joining.